Welcome to Entrepreneur Pit Stop. I'm Dean Donardi, and at Entrepreneur's Pit Stop, we help with tips, tricks, and success solutions for entrepreneurs, startups, SMEs, business development. And today I have a special guest, Noora Keskievari.
Yes.
And we are going to talk about, you're involved in a bunch of stuff, and just see about how entrepreneurship is a tool that we can use to build better business e-commerce or economy locally, or just how can we build and strengthen the entrepreneur business development culture here in Turku or Finland area. Welcome, Noora.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
So quickly, one of the things was I found it interesting. You come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And we met in a class, and I kind of, that was a little close to home for me because I come from a family of entrepreneurs back in the States. So it's nice to have that, somewhat of a similar mindset or background sort of to reflect on. So that was one of the interesting things I found, and I like that you also strayed and went off and did your own things. So one is, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself. Whatever you want to share with us about your background as an entrepreneur, maybe where you came from, what it means to you, and then a little bit of, I think it's what one dog mind. Is that it?
Yeah, one mind dogs.
One mind dog, which is actually, I think, is a pretty interesting concept. So I'm not going to tell you about it, or I'm not going to tell them about it. I'd like you to tell us about it.
Sure.
So if you would.
Yes. So I'm Noora, and first of all, I was not going to be an entrepreneur. So that's kind of my first statement always. I have been really active since I was really young, and I think a lot of it is about, like, I was the youngest sibling of 3, so my sisters and sister brother are 8 and 10 years older. So even when I was a small child, I thought that I'm the same age as them, so I was doing the same things and stuff as them, and including I was traveling independently, I was organizing stuff, and I was, for example, attending my first horse riding camp at the age of 4. So that's when it started. But I was really into pets and animals, and I thought that I would be a vet, like doctor for animals. But then things changed after my high school. I also wanted to, I was really independent. So that's the reason I didn't go for an exchange student abroad. We have had 12 exchange students in my family, so that was really familiar to me, that concept, and I knew that in other parts of the world, you are not able to be independent in that age. So I was not going to do that. Instead, I found this the English school of Helsinki, and it used to be a run by nuns, and it was interesting history as itself. But then the nuns left the system in a larger scale, and for that part of the building in Helsinki, they founded high school. So they had preschool, school, and then they started high school. And so I applied for that from Turku. It was time 98 or 99 or something. So I don't know how I even found them, if you think about the internet. So I thought, I found it through internet, but it was so much different at that time.
Yeah, it was really just getting.
So I don't know how I found them, but then I applied. They had an exam and test and stuff, and I got in. I was so sure that I was not able. Well, it changed my life in many ways. So first of all, I moved by myself, and I learned that, this is actually pretty hard, because half of the whole curriculum was based on the American system.
Okay.
And it was totally different to study English, long mathematics,
Right. Yeah.
and that sort of things, they were so different than what we were used to. So it was really harder that way. But yeah, overall, I was able to grow, to learn, and in the end, I got the, how do you say, like scholarship or certificate or something like stipend, diploma of the best student overall.
Okay.
Because I had the best learning curve.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you got a lot out of it.
Yeah. But I didn't even realize that the meaning of that in that deepness as I learned afterwards when I started to teach people.
Right.
Myself. Then I learned like.
Right. You learned how much it benefited you later. It didn't occur to you.
I mean, like why I was rewarded from that.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
So you actually, in hindsight, you understood how you learned, like your capability, and why you were rewarded for
that. That's one thing.
Well, that's a key element to know about your own skills or talent.
Well, and not only about that, but as a teacher,
right?
When I have people that I have been coaching or teaching in any other, like any space or dog training or entrepreneurial stuff or anything, when people have that learning curve, also in the team.
Okay.
So now I understand the value, like why they emphasize that so much, because that I have learned, like, it's so great that they like. So it was just interesting. During that moment, I didn't realize how big of a thing it was that it actually was. Well, anyway.
So why is learning curve so important?
That's the way. Like, I think that's one of the measurements also for entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So if you have the ability to
to learn more in a quicker, shorter period of time, you're
even
better suited. Yeah, right. Difficulty is here nor there. Right. It's subjective, but if you have the ability to learn quicker, shorter in a short, then so
and it was really hard. There were many students that actually left the school because it was so. I never thought of doing that, but instead I actually went backpacking in Australia for one season because I thought, this is so hard. I want to do something else for a while. And then I thought that I will do my high school in 4 years, but then I came back and I realized, oh no, it's just one group at the time. So I don't want to stay here with the younger ones. So then I did both evening high school and that high school, so I was able to finalize it at the same time with others. So
you're a workhorse.
Yeah, I'm like that.
But that's another qualification.
Yeah, but I think one of the most important things for entrepreneurship is not to escape when it's hard.
Right.
And have the ability, like maybe it's resilience, maybe it's sisu, or maybe it's guts, but it's some sort of like, and at the same time, not over stressing about it because, and keeping calm. Right.
I like to say that like, it's like, it's a commitment, not just to the project, because projects can change, but it's a commitment to yourself, and it's about just, there's gotta be a way. You may have to pivot, you may have to change it a little bit, you may have to scrap it. The idea, but that doesn't mean you don't succeed. And you have to believe there's a way for something, somewhere, somehow to work.
Yeah.
And you're just willing to find it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? It's going to be tough. Nothing's easy, and anything worth it is never really that easy anyway, right?
Right, exactly. So life is not easy. So I think that's one of the core things also nowadays with the kids. Yeah. Because they many times, currently I can see that if it's uncomfortable, they just leave it.
They leave it too fast, too easy.
Yeah.
It's almost like nowadays it's too easy though to leave it. There's so many other things. It's like, and they don't push themselves that little bit. So even if you push yourself a little bit and eat in 10 different things, that little bit more that you do with each little thing, it builds that ability for stamina, or like you learn at the end.
And the luck comes from that.
Right.
And that's what I say to my kids, that you don't actually achieve anything if you don't have the resilience to go to the uncomfortable stuff as
Right.
well, and if you really want to learn something or
Yeah, but
do
that's
something.
even right, like in life, right?
Exactly,
If you're not
right.
comfortable,
Yeah.
like if you're always comfortable, you're never going to stretch your comfort zone.
Exactly,
In
yeah.
the sense of knowing what you're capable of or not capable of in anything. It could be relationships, it could be finances, it could be.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what it is,
Yeah.
right? Or even as simple as traveling. A lot of people don't travel stray far from home because it's uncomfortable for them. Yeah,
You-
well, you are missing out on so much.
You know what? That's actually good that you brought that up, because when I applied to Turku School of Economics, there was one question, maths,
Okay.
and it was like written question. So it was about opinions. So that was not really good question for that sort of test.
Right, the test.
And it was about traveling
Okay.
and how much uncertainty is for that. And for me, it was so natural. I didn't even think that there is anything in there. So
Yeah.
that was wrong answer.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot
that was
of
so funny.
uncer-
But anyway, yeah.
There's
But
a
hey,
lot of
short like time travel, like that was over
Right.
20 years ago. So then there was some occasions I ended up back to Turku. I wanted to come back here, and then I
Yeah.
applied for Turku School of Economics. And the reason for that actually was that I started to read the books for that. Now what I say, I've learned that they don't have any more books
Yeah.
that you study, which is interesting. But they were really interesting, and I was like, well, this is something I like.
Yeah.
And then I started, during my studies, I started local dog training school, because I was at the same time studying to be a professional dog trainer. So that was
Okay.
early 2000.
Okay.
So that's kind of my
That's your thing.
story.
Yeah.
And then since then I have been building services, concepts, training programs, like brands, communities, events, hype,
Right.
and all of that.
So from that love of animals, though, also in that entrepreneurial mindset, you developed a one-minded dog. I keep saying
Yeah, so
it.
one
I
mind
don't know,
dogs.
one-mind dog
Yes.
or one dog's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a one-minded dog.
Yeah.
So what is that? Because I looked into it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but from what I understood, it's getting people to understand how dogs think.
Yeah.
So you understand your dog's way of thinking better. So then it's kind of like one mind.
Yes.
You know,
Correct.
and then
Yeah.
you can better either train or behavioral or whatever needs
Yeah.
to be done.
Exactly.
Or just a better relationship in that sense.
To the point.
Right.
Yes, and the One Mind Dogs as such, and the method started by one of our co-founders, and she's the teacher who taught me to become a professional dog trainer.
Okay.
And she's really smart in that. I am instead, I have been really good and passionate of developing services for people to make their lives better.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
add
so that's
value.
easier.
So that's the background of that, and it's actually interesting. People dream about dogs. Many people have dogs in the U.S. There are more dogs than there are under 18 years old people.
Really.
Yes, so it's
That's
a big business.
There's a lot of dogs here. I can't believe how many.
And still,
dogs
over
is-
50% in the US, they regret afterwards that they even got the dog. So because most of them have
That's
some
amazing.
challenges and problems with them.
Right.
But when you start learning how dogs actually view the world and how they
Right.
learn, everything just gets so much easier.
Well, there's the key is that you have to be willing to want to learn that.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of people are lazy.
Yes.
You
Exactly.
know, and they just want everything to be done, packaged up in a nice
Yes,
little
and quick fixes.
Quick fixes,
Yeah.
but not everything's quick fix in
No.
a sense, and it's a shame. So, but yeah, that ends up being a downside to it.
Yeah.
But I never would have thought
It's a challenge.
it is.
It's not a maybe negative thing, it's a
No,
challenge.
I mean it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Take negative or not negative. It's just it just is.
It is. Yeah.
Right. And it's subjective who wants to take that challenge on or not.
Exactly.
Depending on what the impact of whatever you're dealing with means to you.
But in short, we are building relationships. We build relationships with the dog owners, and they are building a relationship with their dogs. But at the same time, we, for example, partner with other companies,
Right.
and we help them building better relationships with their customers who are dog owners.
Okay.
Because when when you have better engagement with your dog, you actually get more engaged with the actual brand and the service that is offering it.
Sure.
Because it's kind of like
It's all one thing.
almost like therapeutic in a way.
Therapeutic, it is.
Yeah, because it's everyday life, and if you are able to support these people,
Right.
so it helps the people, but it helps the dog as well. And
Right.
because it's pet best, dog ownership is best. And
Right.
for example, people with some sort of challenges or depression, when they start
medical
building that,
assist dogs.
yeah, or like, I mean, not like exactly like that, but if people who have some sort of challenges mentally, maybe, at least when they start learning building the connection with the dog,
Okay.
they become happier people. Because they get kind of...
So it's a reverse healing in a way. It's a reverse
and that's what
stimulation.
happens, and you don't need to have even any sort of mental illness, but
Right.
many people say when
Just,
they start...
just depression.
Yeah, they start, when they start training their dogs with our method or with our help, they are saying that their whole world is getting so much more positive.
Right.
So that's the
Right, they're
impact
seeing
is there.
positive results in something they care about.
Yes.
That's external from themselves. So it's having an adverse effect on them.
Yeah, they
in a
learn
positive way. Yeah.
how to
Relate.
relate and how to connect with their dogs.
Right. No, yeah, that's important. I mean,
Because it feels like magic when it actually
Right.
works. So then you feel that you succeed, you get those
that's interesting.
emotions of success and
Right.
yeah.
It was funny when I was thinking, when I heard about this the first time, one of the things, I don't know if you mind, I was like, oh my God, dog shows. And I was just thinking about all the people who have these dogs that are like prize dogs.
Yeah.
Right? And I just thought, I wonder if those people would be interested in something like that. I just kind of thought that it was, you know, I'm always thinking of different marketing or different like customer base, you know, segments and who I can match with different
Right.
ideas and things. So that's just the way I think. But so when I hear an idea or a solution, I start going off on these little tangents on, you know, who's good for what, why it makes sense and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So let me ask you. So in your experience with business development, entrepreneurship, I think. See, for me, I see entrepreneurship as a mindset. It's not a thing that you do, right? It's a way that you are. And like nowadays, you can apply entrepreneurship. We call it entrepreneurship, but it actually comes from the word preneurship, which is like a French word meaning the in-between person. Okay, it's like originally it's like the person who's in between the product and, you know, the customer, and making the connection. The one that has the ability to bridge the two together. So we associate, you know, entrepreneurship, building enterprises, with this ability, this mind, way of thinking. But nowadays they have like mompreneurs, techpreneurs, you know, everything's a preneur. As long as you, or like intrapreneur, which is kind of interesting, you know, about taking a person who has these abilities and using them with inside a corporation or establishment that's safe by money. You know, it's more secure, you can have more freedom to experiment. Whereas we know as entrepreneurs, everything's a risk. You know, there's no safety in money, there's no security. You go in with all these tools that you hope you have that are good enough, and you make the best out of it. You know, so I like to say, you know, a business developer, but has a capability, because I'm sure, like even with your children, I know for myself, I apply some of my entrepreneur mindset to my children's way of life, you know, and guiding them and teaching them different things that are like risk evaluation, you know, or matching different things and so forth. So in Finland, because you took your One Mind dogs and took it to the States, right?
Yeah, we started with the
You started
global
here.
mindset,
Right,
because
okay.
we knew that the demand was already all around the world, and that was
Right.
the reason we built the actual
Right.
service. And currently we have, or since the beginning, we have had revenue, over 70% of the revenue from the North America. And now currently we have the same ratio, and also we have paying customers from 70 countries.
Oh, 70?
70.
Really?
Yes, even though we are not a huge company,
Right, but
we
you still have revenue coming from that.
Yeah. And we are really stable and EBITDA positive, and so it's a real business.
Okay.
And we have trained also dog trainers.
Okay.
And currently all the revenue, 100% is recurring subscription revenue. So we have a subscription service, which is something that was really new at the time when we built it. App Store and Spotify were not that old at that time, so it was really, we were pioneering in the field.
Okay. So it wasn't really a Finnish company that went global. It was you were already set up to just take it wherever it was going to be.
Basically like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a team pretty much earlier on in the States, in Australia, and it's all remote.
Okay.
Since the beginning.
Okay.
We have had office
So it's
space
been global right from the
yeah.
get-go. There was no
that was the point.
dealing with Finnish and then taking somewhere else and having completely different business culture.
Yeah, no.
For contrast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have seen the whole development of how businesses are built from that world where digitality was not the thing yet.
Right.
So it has been a wild ride.
So you took on the challenge of digitalization when it was very, very young and not really not either used or nobody knew the degree that it could be used.
Exactly.
And the tools weren't there.
Exactly. But I didn't think about it that way because I was born for that. Right. I kind of felt that I'm breathing, and so this is how you just do things.
Right.
I didn't think about it at all.
Right.
So I was one of the first one in Finland to actually take to my local dog training school, before social media, before anything, an e-commerce platform for selling my courses, physical courses. And they were built for items. Right. So it was a little bit tricky with all the wordings and stuff, because I was selling services.
Yeah.
But they have then developed, of course, but since then, so that's how I started my local business. And then the local business has now become a global online business.
Right,
so.
but you started with that global mindset initially.
Yeah.
Right. So as an entrepreneur, as a business developer, you've seen some of the challenges here in Finland. You've worked with groups and organizations and so forth. And nowadays, I've been only here 11 years, and I've seen the startup community, and I say startup community because that's how we identify entrepreneurship here. It's kind of gone through this peaks and valleys, really steep peaks and really low valleys. There really hasn't been a nice, consistent flow to it. How can we help? What can we do you think, in your experience, being Finnish, but being also global minded, having an entrepreneurship perspective or behavioral relationship, is there anything that we can do here? What do you see culturally or in the system that might be able to help level out some of those huge peaks and valleys? I mean, I have my opinions and my experiences, but I like to hear from other people that either contradict me or support my thoughts on it, because the idea is not to criticize, but to point out things that maybe there's a way to work around or to find solutions or to get the word out or whatever it is, to help make it a stronger, a stronger entity here.
Yeah, well,
I know it's a loaded question.
Yeah, I think Finland, the state is already doing quite a lot. And during this 11 years you have been here, so they give a lot of grants and stuff like that, and they build lots of different things that support it. So there is already a lot to do in a positive side. I think it's a lot more, not maybe more, but it's a lot about the culture. And now that I've seen my kids grow and their schools and how their parents other like people, like children's parents communicate and all that, I think we are lacking in the culture that kind of something that has driven me my whole life, what has been my passion and my like I've been really, afterwards, I haven't thought about it, but I have been really brave in doing stuff that I like and enjoy and go after them. And I haven't been afraid of mistakes. I have been like, and the learning curve, just go and do it. It's so much better than just building your CV and titles. I think I am not typical Finn. And always when I go somewhere, they say that you are not a typical Finn at all. And that's probably true. And the reason I am at this stage is because that's my kind of personality. And I want to push my kids towards their passions. They don't necessarily have that passion yet.
Right, but at least take chances.
Yeah, and I don't want to guide them to anything. I want them to find it, and when they find something, I'm supporting it fully. So I think that's something, because now I'm listening to other parents at the, how you call them, the meetings with parents and the teachers.
The PTA meetings, parent-teacher meetings.
They are talking about like bad behaving, about grades, about pretty much a lot of negative things, and no one is talking about how to encourage these kids, how to
motivate them, inspire them,
and explore and to become passionate. So that's
and to find the strength in themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So that's lacking totally.
Right. And I see that with my kids. And the schools and the other parents or the kids that they associate with. Yeah. And I know for my children, because they're American, at least my daughter's more so than my son, she finds that very challenging. Because then she butts heads with friends. Yes. Because their personalities completely crash and she feels like she's alone or isolated because she thinks like this and nobody else like in her circles.
I can so relate to that. And then when our family business joined this family business network in Finland, that has been my transformation moment in that sense. Because when I entered that space and met these people, I thought like, oh my God, I am not the only crazy one anymore. They are all as crazy as I am.
Yeah, but it feels so good. Yeah. But like I was just going to say, I think that's one of the key things that we can offer people is that to build support systems. You know, not only for the kids, but for us too. Yeah. You know, because I know for me as an adult, that there's not enough support systems here locally. For me in, you know, a think tank or just even going to chat and somebody who's as crazy as me, you know, like you say, but especially for the kids, you know, or to help the parents to be able to support the kids so you can get together. So I think one of the biggest takeaways and the biggest offers is from what I'm hearing, and I think it's a good thing that you mention it, is creating and finding and developing these support systems for, you know, let's call it entrepreneurial thinking. You know, the risk taking, the you know, looking for inspiration, motivation, no matter what it is. Yeah. You can apply it however you want, but not staying in the safe zone.
Exactly.
Of life.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so and
I think there is a lot to do because typically Finns think, in my experience, that they would like to do something, but it's so difficult and it's not possible for me. And it's not about the money even, because there are so many things in Finland that you can do for free.
Yeah,
for example, only yesterday I visited at Oodi, the library in Helsinki. I booked a meeting room. It's for free. Yeah. And then I saw that there are like all the things that you can imagine. It's there. You can go there to practice your creating clothes things, or you can go and record music there, and you can go and play video games or use computers. There's everything for free. So it's just about how much you are really like ready to make effort and how much you are. It's the mindset question. And then these people who would like to do stuff but they don't do, then they get like unmotivated of life, of like
Right.
everything and work and stuff.
There's a level of placidity of contentment. You know, that there's no real reason. All the basic needs are taken care of. They're okay. You know,
Yes.
they're not really happy, but they're not really sad. You know,
Yeah.
so they're okay, and they sort of. I mean, this is my perspective here. You know, more locally, is they just ride that middle wave. You know, and it doesn't fluctuate too much, which is fine. You know.
But I think that understanding that requires that people go abroad. They should travel at some level to see how it's, because we have everything so well here. Like in the
I think
end,
it's too well.
it's definitely free education, free everything, and everything is like you can do whatever you want.
Right, and that's a great advantage because I also say that Finns don't know the power of poor.
Right.
Like in America, if you don't do something, you're poor, you're in the street.
Yeah.
Nobody's there to hold you, pick you up. Take advantage of the Finnish opportunities that are there. Don't use them as it's like don't use the safety net as something to push you further out of the net. You know, don't just sit there and take the nap in the net for the rest of your life. You know, use it. You know it's there. Use it as what it's supposed to be, as in case of.
Exactly.
You know, in the meantime, go run wild.
Exactly.
Go challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Go right. You know, so I think some of that, you know, it would create a nice balance and nice usage of it. So then also the safety net doesn't get too overused, you know, in society or, you know, the country's economy, let's say. You know, you got more people taking chances, taking risks, building things or whatever, because there are opportunities. But it's
definitely
about, you know, and so about stepping out of that safety net, finding support groups, creating them. I mean, you gotta get online, post something, ask for people. There's plenty of us willing to go. I know I can't tell you how many things I've showed up to, and a week later, they're disbanded. I'm like, really? I'm like, there's you know, to create more want for it.
right.
You know, somehow, some way. But if there's anything else you want to share with us, I think thank you so much for your insight, for your conversation, and thank you for joining us here on Entrepreneur Pit Stop, where we refuel for success. Thank you, Noora.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Great.
Thank you.